All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, the day has finally come as the Arizona Wildcats are moving on from Sean Miller as their head basketball coach. In 12 seasons at Arizona, Miller won 302 games, which are the second most in the program's history, only to Lute Olson. But Miller's time in the desert was turbulent. We look at the NCAA investigation as well as the FBI scandal in regards to corruption. This is something that began in 2017, and it's really plagued this Arizona program. They put themselves on a postseason ban this year in order to avoid the wrath of the NCAA. And, the NCAA's investigation, concluded and showed that, Miller really wasn't on top of things in regards to his program. Now, you can't overlook the success that he had on the court. 3 Pac-12 titles. He also got this Arizona program to the Elite Eight 3 times, although, many people felt that the Wildcats, did underachieve at times because it was really set up for them to advance to the Final Four a couple of times under Miller. And unfortunately, that was not the case. You look at it overall in the last couple of years, and you have to expect this when you have an investigation of this magnitude, especially once the FBI is involved, that the recruiting is going to fall off. And we saw early on and Miller's tenure at Arizona that he was consistently getting some of the top prospects in the country, which included, of course, Aaron Gordon in the mid-2010s. And going forward, Arizona must first and foremost find a way to restore pride in their program. When you think about Arizona from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s, you're thinking about one of the more prominent programs in the nation. Going back to Lute Olson's time with Arizona, of course, he led them to 3 Final Fours. And, of course, they got their only national championship in 1997. But along the way, with both Lute Olson and, of course, Sean Miller, they were consistently putting quality talent in the NBA, the likes of Richard Jefferson, Gilbert Arenas, Damon Stoudemire, Andre Iguodala, and we could just keep going down the list here of the quality players. And of course, Arizona's gotten away from that in the past couple of years. So I think going forward, whomever their coach is going to be, he wants to keep the expectations high, and he also wants to set the bar in regards to the standards high for this program. But he's got to go out there and find a way to make Arizona once again a hotbed of recruiting on the West Coast. Because once you exclude the state of Arizona from things, because Arizona typically gets some of the best kids from that state, but the Wildcats over the years, they've done their thing in both California and the Seattle area. You think about the likes of Jason Terry coming down from Seattle to play for Arizona and Lute Olson. You think about the likes of Gilbert Arenas, just to name a few, coming from the Southern California area to come play at Arizona. I think this is something that this Wildcats program definitely has to get back to going forward. You look at potential replacements for Miller at Arizona. Of course, you're going to hear the name of Damon Stoudemire, former Arizona point guard. He's currently the head coach of Pacific. Will the powers that be in Tucson want to lead on bringing back one of their alums who knows what it takes to win in that program? We'll have to wait and see. You're hearing the name Tommy Lloyd. He's an assistant coach for Mark Few at Gonzaga. Definitely has West Coast ties. Josh Pastner, the current head coach at Georgia Tech. Of course, he had previous experience at Memphis, and he was a member of that 97 championship team. He was also an assistant coach under Lute Olson. And again, just like it is with Stoudemire, he knows what it takes to win in Tucson, and he knows the culture there. Current Los Angeles Lakers assistant Miles Simon does not have any previous head coaching experience, but of course, he was Pastner's teammate on that 97 championship. He was also the MOP of the Final Four that year, and he is somebody who is also respected in the program. One name that I'm going to throw out there into the mix, Ben Howland, the current head basketball coach at Mississippi State. Now, we've seen Howland's career. He's older as a coach, yes, But you look at a guy who has West Coast ties. We saw what he did at UCLA. He led them to 3 consecutive Final Fours in the mid 2000s. Of course, his reign at UCLA did not end on a high note. He has had some success at Mississippi State, of course, not the same success that he had at UCLA. He has been able to get the Bulldogs to the NCAA tournament once. He has 3 20-win seasons under his belt. But I guarantee you, deep down inside, Howland is chomping at the bit to get back into Pac-12 and also get back and show the folks at UCLA that he can still go out there and get it done. But make no mistake about it, this has to be a big-time hire for the Arizona Wildcats as they look to compete in the Pac-12. UCLA looks like they're back. Of course, they just got to the Final Four under head coach Mick Cronin. You look at USC, who has really turned things around. Oregon is definitely a player under Dana Altman. Colorado made an NCAA appearance this year as well. So if you're Arizona, you definitely do not, and I repeat, do not want to get lost in the shuffle. So I think it's important for them to go out there and find the right hire going forward. And in regards to Miller, he's still in his early 50s, and I think he has plenty of time to resurrect his college career. I mean, make no mistake about it, Miller is definitely a solid coach. He has success at Xavier before taking over at Arizona. This was a big-time program that he took over, and he didn't wilt under the pressure. He was just unable to get them to the Final Four, which would have allowed this program to take that next step, but that was not the case. I think Miller's going to have to sit back for maybe a year or two, probably closer to 2 years, and, really reevaluate things, show different ADs, show different alums around the country that he can still go out there and get the job done, and he's worthy of a job. And I guarantee you, somebody's going to give Sean Miller another opportunity to go out there and get it done. Just not the way that he wanted to finish things, of course, at Arizona. But honestly, at the end of the day, he really did not leave the powers that be in Tucson any choice but to do what they did. So it's going to be a new day for Arizona as they look to get back amongst the top programs basketball-wise in the Pac-12. So we'll see what the Wildcats are going to do with their next hire. So folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for subscribing. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out and drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. Take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.